Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Crew 2 in part 78 of USB Tour Cities. Race number 4 of 8 will be taking on at San Francisco, California. Will be continue on as a halfway mark after finishing for race number 3 at Seattle, Washington. Right now, it's about to go for a different challenge to see some track layouts to be around by Union Square, Financial District, South Market, along with Central Waterfront and Castro, Twin Peaks, Haight-Ashbury, and Union Square. This will have to go down by having a starting grid position to be located onto the straightaway at Financial District in San Francisco, just to see how faster can you dealing with some tight turns and corners whenever it takes to go around in San Fran. But the normal and endurance will have to be set and go for the different challenges as we're about to be currently using with touring car discipline. Since I've just been using with the Mercedes-AMG C63 touring car is quite good and well recommendable after I just purchased as a season pass content. But however, I just had a different kind of a racing vehicle is now being quite good to be recommendable to be using as a DTM race car. Got to go on capital B in BMW and just had to go by lineup in selection. But for example, the BMW M Performance M4 Racing 2014 is now being ready up, get set, and go by having a max per level to be around on 320 to carry out with 902 brake horsepower and top speed, 250 miles per hour. Only one best DTM race car along with the Audi RS5 Turbo DTM as a 2019 race car. So I'll have to go right ahead and I'll have to test it with the M Performance on the BMW M4 is the fully modified version based off of the road going counterpart. So let's begin and have a 3-lap practice session to go enter to have some tight turns on 90-degree angle. Daytime a condition to go in 3 seconds, and here I go.
Ah, good old San Francisco. There's a lot of nicknames for the city by the bay, but me, I just call it home. I've lived here in SF for 30 years and proud of it. So let's take a high-octane tour through what I consider the greatest city in the world and show them what it means to be the USST.
Alright, feel proud to be a Californian. I can accept it to be racing on the California city on the course. This will have to take some corners that we have to keep it monitored as other opponents might be taking a little bit more or less impatient. For example, every corner that takes a 90-degree angle to go for having a right turn and left turn by direction. So be on the lookout on the bus stop chicanes to go tighten up and clear the path to find a good line. Here comes the right, and just have to step it up and be on the defense when you're on first place. The KTM Expo GT2 is in the lead by overtake. Gonna have to climb back and go on the right turn to be proceed onward by passing through the checkpoint. Session by session and keep up the good pressure work. Alright, that's good. Now keep it tight and careful. Proceed as onward. Okay, it's gonna get a little bit tightened up. Just keep it careful and use the apex when you're on the inside of the corner. Final turn on the right, and we're heading back to the Financial District. We'll be proceed on lap 2.
That's the Bay Bridge up ahead, crossing over to Oakland and the East Bay. Passes through a couple of small islands along the way, too. One of which, known as Treasure Island, is entirely man-made.
Okay, it's doing well in the bag, and keep up the good progress when using the BMW M4 and Performance Racing. This car is a very good, excellent DTM spec ready, is now being well tested to be capable to be debuted after the release of the BMW from 10 years ago. But this race car and a fully modified spec version is quite very excellent to be well tested on the course as part of the touring car class in the Crew 2. Or especially to be part as a circuit spec from the Crew 1 is now being fully modified that has an official deemed livery variation to be represent and part of the M Motorsport. Looks so good, and rack up the good acceleration to have a drag reduction system without being well used. Let's take it to the podium and give it a good proper warm-up challenge and see how faster to go by matter of endurance. Checkpoint clear. Have the left turn to be steady well. 6.5 seconds update and go all in. Here goes the final lap. This is it. 7.2 seconds update and keep going. .1 seconds. There you go. Try not to avoid contact on the barrier. Progression is climbing up and stop at 74%.
You can see now some of the Victorian-style architecture that's typical of homes in San Francisco. Rents are pretty high these days, and the city enforces strict rent control. So when people snag a house like that, they stay a long time.
Yep, I just really want to come back to California because I just really don't want to talk about it, and whenever I had to say it, I just really want to say, I just really don't care. That's how I just want to make an excuse, just like Aiden telling Rhea to say, up yours. Good call, Aiden. You just fired back at her after you just got booted up because of Rhea's actions. But I can't wait for Dispenser Camp season finale. It's going to be coming up on September 7th, which is Saturday. But I'll have to look obliged and look forward to it. I just really want Jake to win. But still yet to come, and I just really had to continue on to do some halfway part to be on the USST racing season. And here comes the final stretch, and very good to have a longer defense for the BMW M4.
Wow, what a glorious race that was. I tell you, we Californians have it made when it comes to the weather. And I hope you're not tired of sunshine, because up next is Miami, Florida.
And that's where we're about to be heading up in race number 5 to take on the Magic City. But still yet to come because this race is not over yet around on San Francisco. The city of driving and the city of good excitement. But you guys really might have to call it for having a different title when you're visiting San Francisco is the most beautiful place in California. Now gonna have to roll back onto the Pavilion and just have to keep going to have a one step to be proceed for another round on endurance. But this time, Atomic Edition is about to be yet different when entered on another part of the endurance for the USST cities on San Francisco. Just have to switch up onto the interior view and give it a much more real-life motorsport counterpart to go in action. Here we go, folks. The real challenge starts right here, right now, and give it a good pride of a spirit of a Californian to be well drive and represent to be here on the course racing track of San Francisco. So let's get it on and be ready to go session 2.
Ah, good old San Francisco. There's a lot of nicknames for the city by the bay, but me, I just call it home. I've lived here in SF for 30 years and proud of it. So let's take a high-octane tour through what I consider the greatest city in the world and show them what it means to be the USST.
Alright, same as ever, already been checked, and go for the real part of the challenge to stay focused on first place. This will have to do switching up into the interior view for having one race of the endurance. If I had to do it right and keep a good thrill of success without having interruption during this part of the scene of the content video. All I have to do is going to focus on the turn and corners to find a good line. So checkpoint clear, and starting out on the main progression to be proceed and highlight to be marked on lap 1. Gap distance update by 1.2 seconds, going up, and keep it maintain pace to be around by 2 seconds behind from 7 opponents. This has got to do it one good skill of the racing at a time. Okay, going on the outside, just had to be, almost preferred to be on the inside. That's good. Stay defense and go around by almost 3 seconds on the green. Final turn coming in. Now, here comes lap number 2. Rolling in and take turn 1 at the right. Okay, turn 2 and 3 coming in. Watch out for the barriers. Take it on turn 4 and go proceed on the right at turn 5. But make it well left and be preferred to be go by the number of corners and turns. Okay, that's good on 2 seconds. Good pass on the bus stop chicane. Checkpoint clear. Now, that will have to be preferred to go on turn 9, and then coming around to be up the hill climbing at turn number 10. Okay, so far so good. Now turn right again on 11 and do the lap on turn 12. 2.6 second update on the gap. Just have to keep it well stationed up and be steady about it. It's always about racing on GT cars on the Urban City course. 2.1 seconds update, and the second place driver is now going up by the advantage. Okay, final turn again. Now here comes the third lap.
That's the Bay Bridge up ahead, crossing over to Oakland and the East Bay. Passes through a couple of small islands along the way, too. One of which, known as Treasure Island, is entirely man-made.
Okay, still good, and just have to stay around by having a main behind opponent, as I just barely took by 3.3 seconds. So let's see, which percentage of the progression am I at? 33%. Good. Now just have to go rack up the gear and go through onto the bus stop again by having a hill climb. Okay, that's the spirit. Now do the inside to go around and be well defended. Other racers are still barely trying to catch up onto the third place driver, and still yet currently to have a second place driver as I barely go on the chase of pursuit. The battle of first place for the USST cities at San Francisco is all about the city of responsible driving. Just had to go for having a daytime of street racing, but not anymore. Urban street racing for having some barriers are about to go for having a most fine racing entertainment in motorsports. So the total time just took elapsed by 5 minutes. 41% progression complete. Got to keep going and proceed on to the next lap. Okay, 4.9 seconds update to be almost at 5. That's good. Going up on gear 6.
You can see now some of the Victorian-style architecture that's typical of homes in San Francisco. Rents are pretty high these days, and the city enforces strict rent control. So when people snag a house like that, they stay a long time.
Yeah, I just really want to move back to California these days. it makes my life so depressed and miserable about what's happening to me. But I just really don't care. I just really have to keep on racing, stay clean, and find a better deal of proposition to help me out to get my channel to go up in 1,000. So my only current subscribers that I just barely reached that is 696. Only 4 more to go until I had to be reached up on to 700. Just to see how the progress I just spent for over 12 years since I come here for having one of my own YouTube channel. But you know, it's all about being patient and just have to take some time to have people will understand to have some entertainment, or just have to give some important headlines that I just don't want to mention that unwelcome guest that I just recently posted on the community tab. So the next lap and progression stopped at 57%. Okay, 8.3 seconds update. Got to roll it out, and looks like it's 7 minutes and almost to be at 21 seconds. Feels like I just really had to keep up the good endurance and go all in. Wow, 7.9 seconds. That was so good and quick. I wonder how the second place driver just really tried to keep up with some tight turns to go with elevation. He'll have to figure it out. It's all about practice. We'll have to make it right
there in the distance,
and go.
That's the Trans-America Pyramid. No longer the city's tallest skyscraper, but still the most iconic. The glass area on top is called the Crown Jewel and boasts one of the best views you'll ever see.
Alright, just have to keep going, and almost there by 30% to go to be reaching up on 70%. There it is right now. Got to keep a good center of the GPS and go to the next lap. Okay, so it's going to be on lap number 7. But of course it is. Every endurance go by 10 laps will have to be focused and keep up the good racing work of touring car class. Okay, 7.7 seconds update on the gap. Second place driver is going up by having a gain of advantage. Now I'll have to step it up and kick it to the high gear. Back on 8.1 seconds. Going in. But it looks like no sign of change of weather forecast to be seen on the rain. But mostly cloudy, just barely well gets to be seen around on San Francisco for having a change of today's forecast.
It's all straight speed from here to the finish line. So let's see those drivers give it all they've got.
Alright. Just have to be patient and almost there to have a single lap to go, and the final lap is about to go stop at the progression of 85%. Here we go, you guys. Final lap, and this is it. 8.5 seconds has just barely cruising around and go by practice a corner in San Francisco. And this is good to be impressive to see a BMW M4 and performance racing is now give it all I got. A very good DTM race car, and much more impressive to go racing up the remarkable edge. Now onto the 90-degree angle turn to be on the right, and bus stop corner to go crossing through with the edge of chicane. Next turn again on the right, give it a good torque and feedback to be dive in to be climbing on the downhill. The total time is going to be almost to be at 11 minutes, just only one more minute to go, and the total time is going to be at 12 minutes. This race and the competition to go for a continuation to be on the halfway mark until race number 5 at Miami will be coming up soon in the next video. In about 4% to go remaining, 97% of the progression earlier to be timed and keep up the good pressure to stay on corner edge to be on the street and apexes, and the spectators of the Californians are about to be cheering on for Hyperion-Blue-GT will be take home the podium. And here it goes. Last turn and last stretch. Let's give it to the finish line and make it a win.
Wow, what a glorious race that was. I tell you, we Californians have it made when it comes to the weather. And I hope you're not tired of sunshine, because up next is Miami, Florida.
Alright, the Magic City, here we come, and this is how I'm about to go proceed forward to be in the 5th part of the race. Alright, very good. One standard and endurance at San Francisco for the USST City is done and check. Now let's have a good review check on the map, and that is good to be splendid indeed for California Racing Circuit. But very good, and just the main line is good to be exactly to be racing around to go proving up as a championship driver. So I hope you guys just really enjoyed for having a one best USST race at San Francisco to be around on California. But also to be on a reminder to be proceed and onward in race number 6 at Los Angeles. Just to make sure to go by a quick detour to be proceed onwards to be heading up from the west coast to the south of Miami, Florida. We'll be ready up and get set to have some 2 types we'll be doing on normal and endurance. Just as ever, just have to zoom in and go around by having a rotation to be seen around to have some 3 districts on Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, and Little Havana. And one more thing to have the other part of the downtown session is now being checked and go by having a main course of a track layout to see what might be quite good to be given to have some runabout to be well preferred to be serving up as the main obstacle to have some right turns to go proceed and quicker to the left as the final turn to go onward to have the main straightaway. I have to be ready. Going up to Miami, Florida for race number 5 will be continue on as I'm about to wrap this up at the end of the video. I'll have to do my best and just have to go by same pattern to do the normal and endurance we'll have to using for a different kind of a touring car that I never used before. But good thing the Mercedes AMG C63S touring car and BMW M4 and performance is quite good to be trying out and will eligibility to be used it at any time. So thank you for enjoying watching the video in the Crew 2 folks. I hope you enjoyed. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, then click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. Follow me on Deepinet Art, Instagram, Twitter, GT Planet, Patreon, Discord, and more social media platforms. Plus, memberships are now open to everyone. We'll join to get access for a price levels a month with exclusive perks, custom emoji with my OCs, and many features to support the channel. It's the best way to help out with a super thanks as an extra will support and grow. I'll be see you guys next time in the Crew 2, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.